Hi guys, Dorothy here at the Stash Depot, and I had a request for a tutorial about my little notepad that I had included in my journal that I did for my giveaway. And so I wanted to come and sort of share with you how I do that. There's several different ways, but I'll show you how I do mine, and please excuse my manicure because I've been dyeing paper, so it's crazy. The notepad that I included in the journal was a very square, paper cut to the exact, just like a stereotypical notebook that you would buy. This is sort of a junk journal style one that I did, so I'll show you how to do the junk journal one because it's a lot more difficult, and then the basic one you can figure out. It's very simple by then. You just have to cut each paper the same exact size to make the standard notebook. So like this is the junk journal one. It includes like index cards, alteration tags, music paper, scrapbook paper, lined journal pages, book pages, encyclopedia pages, index cards, ready-made pockets, rolodex cards, score cards, guest checks, large index cards, layaway tag. So I mean, pretty much standard. Like that one didn't connect, but most of them are all in there. So I mean, you just sort of have to check because you will have occasionally one that won't make it if you don't get it up there right. So these are pretty basic. So let's get busy and do another one. So for the one I'm going to do, you will need some kind of backboard. If you want to use chipboard, you can. I use the back of my scrapbook paper. Again, you're going to throw it away probably at the end anyway, so it doesn't really matter if there's something on it. A nail file, a spatula. Make sure it's silicone. You would save yourself all kinds of headache if you do. I picked this up at the Dollar Tree for $1. My nail file I got in a kit. I think I got 3 butterflies and a regular nail file for $1 at the Dollar Tree. Some type of high temp glue gun and glue sticks. So that's it. Other than that, the only thing you need is everything you can include in your junk journal. So like for this one, I've got encyclopedia pages. There's various of those. Book pages, scrapbook pages, music sheets, index cards, large ones and small ones, already tea-dyed, score sheets, rolodex cards, and a couple pockets. So I like to vary mine, so I sort of make 2 piles. Like I know I have a pocket and I have a pocket. And you always want to take you want to have a straight edge. So like if you're doing tear sheets, say if you're going to use like a book page, you have a rough edge, fold it in half like for this size, or you could use it a whole page if you were doing a large one. And then I just sort of tear it. Then the straight edge needs to be bumped together, just because that saves you a lot of headache later on if you're not rough. So just sort of line your straight edges up. So my Rolodex card I would line up like that, again like that, and I just make 2 separate piles, lining them up, and I try to alter them, so you don't have the same thing all the time. Again, my little scrapbook pieces, or notebook paper, just line up with the flat edges. Ledger paper, same thing. Line the flat edges up. And I try to vary, so you don't want the same thing all the way through, and you don't want to pull the whole inside of your notebook out and have nothing left. So just make sure you line everything up, top to bottom. Music sheet, and a lot of times you can try to do bigger to smaller, so I'll put my music sheet on the bottom because it's the largest. Just sort of try to throw it in there where it fits. Let's put this back here on top of the pocket. I'm going to put my Rolodex up here in the front. And there's a small one. And then like your book pages, just fit in there the best you can. Let's put that to the front. And you just keep flopping it in there till you get all in there. And you don't have to do it, largest to smallest. You can vary it so you have different sizes. There really is no rules, which makes it sort of nice. Unless, if you sort of have OCD or something like that, you may want to do you know, you want the line straight edges because it looks better. So when I do that, then I sort of make, I'm sorry that's probably noisy, but I just sort of smash it down so it lines up. Then take the other one. See, there's a book page, and that would have caused issues later on because it was rough. Like that, smash it down as well. Pile them together. I need to do that a lot. And then my back page, I just sort of, let's try to do it this way. I'm trying to do it for the camera, so it's a little awkward compared to what I usually do. I just sort of lay it up there. And, you know, if you're using something that you can tear, you can do that. I just grab my scissors. I try to cut it a little bit shorter than the paper because I don't want it like bulging out of the back or whatever. So, and it doesn't have to be perfect. Again, just cut it off like that. And again, down. And then at this point, I like to, you can use, you know, whatever you want. If you're doing large pages, you probably use the whole thing. Then I'll rip off a book page, and we all have book pages laying around everywhere trying to find, do with it. And I put one on the front, and you'll understand this in a minute. And then I put a book page on the back. Then, oh, I did forget, you need binder clips. You always forget something. You need binder clips. And you can buy them everywhere. And I sort of bind a clip on the sides. And you want to make sure too, when you're making them, you may not make it as wide where you can fit everything around it. Put your binder clips on there. And then I run, you need to make sure you have your pages straight. And that's the hardest part, but this saves you so much time if you do this. Okay. Binder clip on. And then I put binder clips across the top because it does help. And you can find these at Walmart, anywhere. I mean, everybody knows where binder clips are at. And I always put a couple and sort of leave the end open because you can pinch it. So here's where you start. So you're going to pinch the end. Then what you're going to do is you're going to take your glue gun. You're just going to run a small little strip of glue. You don't want to go very far, maybe a centimeter or half an inch. Then you're just going to sort of wave it back and forth, almost like an artist painting with a paintbrush. Back and forth, smoothing it out. Don't worry about what happens to the glue anywhere else. That's why we have those book pages in there to sort of cover. Then you're going to go down a little bit more, add a little bit of glue, sort of do the, paint it like an artist, and we'll do a couple coats on this, so you don't have to worry about how thick it is, or if you're doing whatever, you just push down, slide back and forth, and if you get a big glob like that, just sort of take it out of the way. And these actually go together pretty fast. They're great to have in your journal because you have like a little mixture of papers, especially if you're traveling. You know, because that can save you taking like, you know, totes full of papers with you and you have everything with you. Again, just squish it down in there, just push. And you want to push firmly where you can feel it sliding roughly against the papers. And again, little dab of glue. You know, and whatever your dominant hand is, you want to slide that around so you can have your access and try to spread that out. Again, a little bit of glue. I think I'm running out of glue stick. I actually use the Gorilla glue stick, and this is an AdTech high temp glue gun. I think I got it at Walmart for a little less than $10 or so, and the glue sticks were expensive. They're like $8 for a pack or so like that, which to me is high for glue sticks, but they last really long time. Like this one's still half in there, so it's just where it doesn't have the pressure behind it. So You just sort of keep waving that in there. Okay, so there we go. And you want to just set this to the side to cool. And when you do, well, it's already starting. Well, this is I'll wait till it cools down because it's silicone. When your glue cools down, well, even now if it's not, it just rolls off. So you have a clean spatula to start all over with again. And glue strings. Okay, at this point, this is very rough. I don't know if you can sort of see through there. Yeah, there you can see it better. Where it's really, really rough. If you don't care about that, you can save yourself this step. I sort of pick the big stuff off the sides, but you don't have to worry about it. If that does not bother you, that's rough on the top, don't worry about it. If it does bother you, you can take a file. Let me see, try to do this sideways. So you can see, and just sort of file it. You don't want to file too deep because then you've just undid everything you've done. But I just sort of smooth it out some so there's no big bumps. I mean, it doesn't really bother me. I know I'm pulling them off and, you know, it's going in a book for me to use. So, and pull your binder clips off. And you may occasionally, because if the glue doesn't seep all down in there, you may have a page that doesn't stick. I just put it to the side, use it on the next one. No big deal. Okay. So, you'll see how the glue is pushed down on this page. That's why we use the book pages, because at this point, you can take that book page, pull it off the front, pull it off the back, pull off all those big things, and again, you can, if that bothers you, you can run that right across there and it comes right off. It doesn't really bother me because we're junk journaling, so. And I always just throw those pieces of paper away. They're book pages, I don't know. So, there you go. You've got, I'll see, because sometimes they don't stick. So I'll go through and just flip the pages, and you'll be able to tell it'll come right out like it's not attached. Here's my pocket, book page, music page, encyclopedia, rolodex, my scrapbook pages, index cards, book page, index cards, encyclopedia page, my second pocket. Oh, now see, if I was doing that, it would never work that way. But because I'm doing it, and I said it wouldn't, it will. So, there you go, and you have all your junk pages in there, and you have that to carry with you. So, there is a basic tutorial of how I do my junk journal notebooks. So, I hope that's helpful to someone. Again, like, subscribe, comment if you enjoyed it. If you have other tutorials you'd like to see, please, feel free to leave it. One thing that you can do that I didn't explain is, if you're going to make it, depending on how ahead you want to be, if you're like a distress oxide, vintage photo type person, that's what you use in every journal. Or if you're making a certain journal and say, you're making a nature journal. So these are all the papers you want to include, which you can actually cut down, the pages of, Edith Holden books or whatever page you want to use in there. You could even actually decorate them some, as long as they weren't like too 3D. So, I mean, you could put, your Mod Podge napkins on them, have them all in there, whatever you want to do. You could even ink around the edges of each of the pages, as long as you had ink with you to cover the ends. Most of the time it's fine, but, occasionally it will pull that ink off. But you could have them mostly inked where, you're just hitting the bottom and you're good to go. So, but there you go. There's a junk journal notebook and how to make them. I hope you enjoyed it. Have a great day. Happy crafting, and we'll see you next time.